So in last class we started random walk. Random walk is nothing but a Markov chain which is defined over an undirected finite connected graph. So it is a sequence of moves between the vertices of a finite undirected connected graph. If you have n vertices, those n vertices will represent the states of the system, and from one vertex to another vertex, if there is a connection, or there is an edge, then there will be a probability of moving from, say, ith vertex to jth vertex, and that probability will be degree of 1 by degree of that vertex. So this is what is called random walk. Random walk has several applications, just like the Brownian motion, foraging of insects or any animals. Similarly, in SAT problem, you have seen that random walk was implemented. Gambler ruins also, it can be implemented using gamblers ruin. It can be implemented using this random walk. Now we took finite undirected connected graph, and we said that if it is undirected and connected, so there are some properties of Markov chain that are going to be satisfied here. First property is, as it is undirected, we always have two-length cycle. Then if we consider the graph to be non-bipartite, we'll be having three-length cycle or any odd-length cycle will exist. So the LCG of these cycles, that is the periodicity of the Markov chain, that will be 1 for this random walk. So if we take non-bipartite undirected connected graph, then that corresponding to that graph there will be a Markov chain which is aperiodic. And we got a theorem that a random walk on an undirected graph is aperiodic if and only if the graph is non-bipartite. So that is the only condition for the graph to be aperiodic. And if you remember, we developed the theorems of Markov chain based on this aperiodicity. So another important property associated with this is, first, it is finite, undirected and connected, right? If it is finite, undirected and connected, that means all the nodes of this graph will be communicating with each other. So that means all states communicate. If you remember, communicate was the first relation that was defined as equivalence relation. So all states communicate with each other. That means they will be in the same communication class. So only one communication class. This means the chain will be irreducible. So that means the chain is irreducible, right? So what we have got finite, irreducible and aperiodic Markov chain. What that kind of chain is having a specific name, right? So we have got random walk, which is finite, aperiodic, periodic and irreducible Markov chain. So if you had considered bipartite graph, then obviously this periodicity will not be satisfied, you will be getting a period of length 2. This kind of chain is called ergodic chain, right? So if we have such a chain, we can apply the fundamental theorem of Markov chain. That means we can apply Markov chain theorems. So specifically, we can apply fundamental theorem and get that there is a unique stationary distribution. There is a unique stationary distribution for the random walk. Okay. Now, what will be this stationary distribution? For this, we have a theorem. A random walk, normally it is named as MG, on a finite undirected connected graph connected bipartite, non-bipartite. How do I write it? Graph is aperiodic. That is actually okay. I was discussing about convergence. So this graph converges to a stationary distribution. Converges to a stationary distribution pi where this pi for each of the states, this is degree of the state or degree of the vertex associated with it by 2e. 2 into size of e, that is 2 into number of the edges. Now this can be proved from the fact that this pi is actually stationary, and you can define the you can use the definition of Pij. So if you use the definition of Pij, here it will be PUV if you consider U and V to be the vertices, and pi being a stationary distribution. If you use this and then solve the equation of this V, solving this, you will get as a unique solution, and this solution is this pi V. So this is also equals to, so pi V, sorry, pi V is this. So pi V is equals to, this is my matrix, this is P matrix V, this is also equals to UV pi U P UV for all V. Now if you solve this, you will get this as my solution. So this is how we can find the, as degree of a vertex and 2e, these are constant number for a given graph. We can easily find the stationary distribution for the random walk associated with it. There are also some other properties for a random walk, some other terminologies associated with them. Like one is heating time. Heating time is nothing but the expected time HUV. So HUV, you have already seen this H. This is the expected time to reach V from U. This is also called as heating time from U to V. This is also called heating time from U to V, or simply heating time if it is like, you can get that it is going to be from U to V from the context itself. So what is the expected time to reach U, V from U? This is same as the heating time when we consider random walk. This is the property of Markov chain. Here we use it as heating time. So there is another terminology that is called commute time. Commute time is the time to go from U to V and come back from V to U. So it is HUV plus HVU. Both expectation, if you take together, then it will be commute time between V and U. Obviously, this one is symmetric in nature, because if you take U to V plus V to U or V to U plus U to V, that doesn't matter. So this one is symmetric, although heating time might not be symmetric. Now we have cover time. Third one is cover time, which is important. Cover time is, if you take say I am considering CUG. Say this, let this be the expected length of a walk that starts at U and ends upon visiting every vertex of G at least once. So CUG is the expected length of a walk that starts at U and covers every vertex of G at least once. We are not saying exactly once, we are saying at least once. Okay, so this is the cover time for a particular vertex, and when we are considering cover time for a G, this is C of G, or it is also written as CG. This is max over, if you take U, max over U, CU, G. That is the maximum over all vertices of the expected length to visit all the nodes in the graph by a random walk starting at any particular node U. So this is the maximum over all such lengths from starting over all vertices. How do I write? Obviously, for one vertex, you will be getting only one length. So, maximum over all vertices length starting from each. This is starting from each vertex U belongs to V. Okay, this is the cover time. Now cover time, you can understand that as we are taking maximum, we need to find a bound of it. What is the bound that I don't know? Next theorem is associated with finding the bound of the cover time. First, before that, we have a lemma. So that lemma theorem, rather we can call it as a lemma. This is that associate the commute time. So it relates commute time with the bound of it. Commute time with length of number of edges. So if you have one particular edge, say UV belongs to E, then for that set of vertices, the commute time is bounded by 2E. Why so? We'll explain. So say this belongs to E, then HUV plus HVU is less or equals to 2 into size of E. Now what is this? This is the expected time to traverse from U to V, and this is from V to U. Now instead of the undirected graph, you make it directed graph. If you make it directed graph, how many edges will be there? Number of edges will be 2 into E, because when you are considering undirected, you are merging two edges together. So as it is memoryless, you are considering Markov chain as it is memoryless. So for any edge or from one vertex, if you want start from U, you want to go to V, as there are total 2e number of edges, your expectation to go will be like you can choose any of the paths of these 2e edges and you can go to this V. Similarly, you can start from V and you can come back to U by choosing any one of these 2e edges and come back here. So that's why this expectation value, expected probability, that is bounded by 2 into E. This is because of it is, if you first convert it into directed graph with 2E edges, then memoryless.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am. Like, I have a CCA meeting now, so if any information you can tell Shreyas, ma'am. I'll go on. I guess you will be also having, ma'am.
Yeah, but I have sent mail already saying that I have class.
Okay, like I will alone just go and come, ma'am.
Okay, okay, you go. Okay, so what I was telling is if I have to go from U to V, then I have 2e number of edges and Markov chain is memoryless, so it doesn't remember which path it has taken. So there is a probability of choosing any of the edges. That's why the uh, expected time becomes 2e for like for going from U to V, from V to U. If you consider it, it is going to be less or equals to 2e. Similarly, cover time, for cover time the bound is cover time cover, cover time is bounded by 2e into number of vertices minus 1. So if we take E as say E equals to n and V equals to n, then it is bounded by 2m into n minus 1. How do we prove it? For proving this, what we need is we have to consider for the graph itself, we can devise a spanning tree. So to prove, first construct a spanning tree for G. Now, if you do depth first search over this spanning tree, your target is to visit every edge of the spanning tree exactly once. So you can do depth first search. So for depth first search, sometimes this backtracking will be there. So if you consider that backtracking, that is if it is there in the graph, then that will give you some kind of cycles, or rather, so construct a DFS tour over why this bar doesn't work always, I don't know. Over, say this is T, over T, this tour has to be Eulerian cycle, has to be now if you take this Eulerian tool for every in case of breadth first search, what you do, you try for the adjacent vertices, right? So adjacent vertices you are going to consider number of for one vertex, maximum number of adjacent vertices can be what? If I have total number of vertices as n, so I am considering one vertex. From one vertex, at worst case, all other vertices will be its adjacent vertex. So maximum can be this n minus 1. Now we have already seen the cover time is bounded by 2e. So if I start from any vertex, here what we have to do, we can start from any vertex and do the tool. So if we take the maximum over all these 2's, then that will be bounded by 2 into m. This 2m comes from the previous lemma, and n minus 1 comes from the number of adjacent vertices in the worst case. So obviously this is too high a bound. This is like this bound is not a tight bound. In practical case, it will be much smaller than that. But at least you can say that there is a bound even in the worst case, how much it can be. Okay, so this is about random walk. One application we are again going to talk about, that is called ST connectivity algorithm. This is very easy. ST connectivity algorithm for graph. S and T are two nodes in a graph, and we have to see if there is a path that connects S to T. So the target is to find a path that connects S to T. How can you do it? Any idea? Easiest way? You can do it in linear time, right? Using your DFS, BFS.
Yes, ma'am. We can start from one of S or T, and then
using DFS or BFS, you can find such a path in linear time. What will be the space complexity for DFS or BFS? Space required will it take linear space also? Think.
I'm sorry, can you repeat? You're asking if this will take linear space?
I'm asking
Like BFS or DFS will take linear space?
linear space, right?
You're asking, no?
I'm asking.
BFS will take O of V, so it will be linear only, right?
It will take like height, no? Log of like one of them will take log of n space, the other one will take the breadth of space, like n by 2.
What?
BFS would be n by 2 if you use like Q technique, and DFS would be like log n.
Will it be log?
No, it won't be log. It's O of H, whatever the height of the tree is.
H is like log of n, right? Okay,
No,
okay. I'm
not
assuming
always.
like but yeah, height was height.
Height, you are not. You cannot say that it will be like height will be log, right?
Okay.
So any like space is, you can say space in terms of V or E, that you say. Number of edges, number of vertices. Can it be lesser than this? Tell me. Okay, you can check. It is going to be linear only. Space required is linear. So the problem for using JFS or BFS will be the space. Time linear is okay, it is tolerable. Even if your graph is very large, then also you can think like, okay, we are dealing with linear time, so we can work with it. But if I read space as linear, then this kind of algorithm will not be good for a large length, large size graph. So for that, when you have space constraint, then you go for randomized algorithm for ST connectivity. That algorithm uses this random walk. Algorithm is very simple. You have a loop, you have a while something, some condition will be there. What you will do is you start from S and try to find a random walk from S to T. Start from S, find random walk from S to T. If such a walk is found, then yes, otherwise no. So this is the algorithm. So, but how many times we are going to try finding this path? That for loop, there is some value of this for loop. Okay, how many steps you are going to, how many iterations you are going to run. So normally it is taking a while. Okay. Rather, instead of writing it just while, just written this. We start from S. We find a random walk from S to T. If such a walk is found in some particular step in X steps, then yes, otherwise no. So this is the randomized algorithm. So when it is giving as yes, then is there any probability of error?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
When this algorithm gives answer as yes, that yes, a path is detected. Is there any possibility of error here?
If it gets stuck in a loop or something.
No, random walk will not stuck in a loop. No, random walk.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
It is like with laser, the particle is moving from one vertex to another. It is just, we are just counting the number of edges it is taking. If that number of edges is more than x, then we say that it is no. If it is within x, then we say it is yes. So I have to find the value of x. What should be the value of x to make it make the algorithm reasonable in terms of error probability. So first we have to see whether when there will be error. So that's why I am asking if yes, there is, in case of yes, is there any possibility of error? And then in case of no, is there any possibility of error? When a path is detected, we have already reached from S to T, right? So there is no error.
Yes, ma'am.
So when the algorithm is saying yes, their path is present. But when it is saying no, then there can be error, right? Maybe it has not detected the path in X steps. Maybe it has traversed in totally different direction.
A wrong path. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, there is possibility of error. So you know that this kind of algorithm belongs to the class of, this is 1MC, right? One side bounded Monte Carlo algorithm. Because for one kind of answers we are not getting any error. Here no error. Here is possibility of error. Okay, now we have to bound the error. So we get actually another theorem. That theorem is called the theorem itself from the book. So this probability of error is half if you consider number of steps as 4, no sorry, it is 2. We have taken here before. Two mn, okay. 2n cube. So you have probably guessed that this 2n cube, this I am taking from the fact that the cover time is bounded by 2m into n minus 1, right? That we have seen in the previous theorem. So 2m into n minus 1, this is less or equals to 2mn. Now m is my number of edges. That will be less or equals to 2n, n will be less or equals to n square. So this will be less or equals to 2n cube. That is the cover time, expected cover time. This is expected cover time. Now what else we need to make it half? So I want to apply this Markov's inequality. Markov's inequality. For Markov's inequality, what I need is probability of x greater than equals to a. This is less or equals to p of x by a, right? This is the Markov's inequality. Now e of x value that I know, this is less or equals to 2mn or less or equals to 2n cube. The value of a should be taken as something such that the number of the probability error is half. So this has to be 4n cube, right? If I take this as 4n cube, so yes, this is my 4n cube. In that case, p of x greater than equals to 4n cube, this will be less or equals to e of x is this. This is less than, actually this is less than 2n cube by 4n cube equals to half. That means error probability will be half if we take the value of x as the number of steps as this. In that case, the expectation that the work is not found even in that step, that will be half only. The error that the expected value lies beyond this, that will be half. So this is about ST connectivity algorithm. If you have a doubt in any part, you can ask me. I didn't check. Maybe I can check with the book if I have taken it correctly or not. Thank you. Okay. In the book it is given as 2n cube. 2n cube it is given because it is, they have considered, this is actually, this one is less or equals to n cube. This is, you can take it as n cube also. Then it will be also 2. 2mn is less or equals to n cube. So it is n cube by 2n square equals to half. So here we have considering 2n less or equals to n square. So here how much space will be required? Can you guess? Space required. Any idea? This is going to be log n. Why so? Because you just have to represent this 2n cube number in bits. If you have to represent 2n cube in bits, that will take only log n number of bits. So that's why the space requirement becomes lesser, it becomes log of n. Just to represent 2n cube steps in bits. Okay, that's it for today. This module is complete. Anything you want to ask?
No, ma'am.
Not even
No.
a from you. Okay then, bye. Take care.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.